Doing well. This is
Oh, cool.
fun. Like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year. I think I told you even at that party after the New York Film Festival. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Thank you, man. I'm so glad that you like it. And Chris
yeah,
told me that you two have been talking as well, right?
yeah. No, he and I hang out at the at Film Fest 919. So we have
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
we cause a lot of trouble together. But he's also just like you know, it's always fun to have another person who's seen the movies because he's going
Yeah.
to all the Academy screenings. So like you know, I'll get a text and it'll be like, "Don't look up." He liked it. Like he wants confirmation of the things he's seen. It's like, am I the only one? No, okay, you like it too, or it's fun. It's like that's the thing I think people don't realize about this is like the sort of human interaction, which fits in because like all you guys do is human interactions as film, but like
Yeah.
meeting people and interacting with them and having a connection, it doesn't preclude you from like disliking a movie if you don't like it, but it feels like you have a better sense of what someone was trying to do. Like
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
like
Yeah.
okay, and oddly, like even Chris was like, if you didn't like this, I would believe you because I know your taste. Like I would want to know why it didn't work. So like
Oh,
there's an honesty there, but I know I legitimately love this movie because I'm weird, but it fits. But the
that's
thing
all.
that I'm always, yeah, the thing I'm always curious what you guys is, whatever you make is the culmination of banding about more than one idea, obviously, because that's how it works. And like, how do you know that one of the ideas can sustain a movie? Because I'm sure there's 10 that can't. You chatted about it and went, what happens next? And we don't have an answer. But what about this one made it that there was and this happens and this happens? And obviously you don't know all of it immediately, but like the spark to continue going.
Yeah, I to tell you the truth, there's about there's maybe like three ideas that are sitting on the back burner, and these all three ideas have have a hook, have a hook that interests me, and it's something that I want to see on screen for 2 hours. So I remember when I was first, talking to these suitcase pimps, I remember being on the set of Starlet, and one of these guys was actually telling me his viewpoint
Yeah.
that was very similar to the oral award story in the movie.
Yeah.
And he was saying it with no filter. Didn't matter who was hearing it in the room. And it was at that moment where I was thinking, oh my God, there's a whole other movie here. And then I had that quickly confirmed by a crew member of mine who came up to me and says, there's a whole other movie with this guy. And I was like, you're right. Yes, there is. And so that just made me, that was at that moment that I was like, this is a story and we're going to, we'll figure it out. But just that character alone is enough to sustain for 2 hours.
Yeah. Because that's the thing that I'm always so curious about because everyone has an idea. Whether you're a writer or not, everyone at some point in their life will go like, this should be a movie. And normally it should. Like, let's be real. Most of the time it shouldn't be a movie. But there's always an interesting thing that happens to someone or they heard a story. But what the thing that you guys do so well is, and sort of the secret sauce is, whatever the hook is, or whatever the elevator pitch is, the stuff that happens in between the like 5 or 6 moments that you sell the movie on are almost always the best bits. And that's the stuff that I'm sure is the hard is like, well, what happens between, okay, Mikey comes back home, he meets a girl, he wants to make her a porn star, they maybe leave. Like there's our movie, but there's like 2 hours in between. What happens there? Like that's the secret sauce. Like how do you come up with that? Like the story within the story.
I think it's just about like never putting myself in the position of the audience. I never want to be bored. Not for a second do I want to be bored. So just making every scene meaty, making every supporting character worthy of being, on screen for that amount of time. I think that's it. It's just it's about making our film constantly compelling in some way or another. And yeah, I lost my train of thought on that one.
It fits.
Yeah,
it fits for this. No, it's true. Like there's something about, okay, I know the basic beats of the story, but there's got to be wait, does he have a neighbor? Oh, okay, the neighbor. And okay, now we make the neighbor, and now you want to spend time with the neighbor, and like the wife could just be like, that's the thing. Like Bree's character could be so just someone who's there and gives you like nothing towards the movie, not in a bad way, just
No, I
you
see what
didn't
you're
find
saying.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about making them three-dimensional, quite honestly. The characters have to be three-dimensional, no matter how small the role is. Giving it something to that character, something to say, a facial expression, a movement, something that makes that person more than just a caricature, somebody who's just background dressing. I think that, and you start to do that with all of the supporting cast, and that then you have something that feels like a real foundation of reality. And I think that that's the goal. It's like these films, even though they are elevated reality, they're still grounded in reality. So they have to always, and another thing I was going to say is that as an audience member, I always want to see something that I haven't seen before. So even if it is I don't know, a traditional, subplot of meeting a neighbor and using it and bonding with a neighbor. Well, what can we bring to the table that's new about that? And then then we go about fleshing the Lonnie character out, giving him this, this father, and giving him this backstory, giving him the stolen valor moment, stuff. It's like that. So, and so it's about bringing stuff that's new and fresh to the table, never being trite.
Yeah, and
actually, I remember a review from my first film back at South by Southwest, and one of it was like, one of the lines, it was like, just, this is trite. I was like, I will never be trite again.
No. Again, no, it's, I mean, that's the thing. Like you guys, and I'm sure some of it is on the page, some of it is on the set, some of it is the cast. Like every moment feeds into something about the characters, and that leaves you so much more time to do other things, because you don't need to stop to fill in the blanks. Like I talked to Bree so much about that third sex scene, not because I'm creepy, just because like that moment where she gives you a little bit of like, oh no, I was a good porn star. Like this is a thing we did. It's such a like amusing moment. It gets a laugh, but in hindsight, it's also sad, because you're like, oh, this is what he ruined. And that you never have to stop to tell anyone that. She never has to say, I was someone. Like it's all right there. And that leaves more time for, well, we can spend another moment with Lonnie. We can go to like Strawberry's house, like all these things that, at a certain point you would be going, okay, the movie's 2.5. We got to cut it down. Like, what can we lose? Okay, this hurts to lose it. It's all in scenes that you already want. It's just, it's subtly genius work. You guys are like magicians when it comes to that.
Thank you. But also, my actors are incredible, and they brought so much. They really did elevate what was on the page, especially, Brie. I mean, her instincts were so incredible, and I could rely on her. I don't know if I told you this, but like, in that sabotage sequence, I already knew what Simon had to do. Everybody else besides Brie in that room were all first timers. So I leaned into Brie and I said, look, I'm so sorry to do this to you, but you really have to be I have to rely on you. You have to be my wall of sound here. And so she just gave me like all this background noise, because I didn't score that scene. So I didn't want more than half a second of silence in there. So if you watch that scene again someday, just realize it's basically all Brie background. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she is yelling the entire time. It's also funny because obviously you guys shot it during COVID, so which is another thing of like, none of this should work because it's not a fun way to make a movie. You guys can't hang out. Like it's also one of the only times the room's crowded.
Yeah.
And that's also, I imagine, just like, oh God, this should feel totally normal. I make movies with a lot of people in the room yelling at each other. It's what I do.
Right.
But this is the only time we did it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And if you think about it, we also, so it was Drew who was camera operating, and Alex Altman who was doing sound. So there were an additional like 3 people that you don't see always in that room too. Yeah.
In a room that's not big, if we're being honest.
No,
but you get, like you said, the actors, and like, with Susie, you wrote an almost impossible role to cast. Like you and Chris came up with something that doesn't exist. Like they really aren't like women in their 20s who look like they're 15 who can play 17. Like that's just, you found the one, and she happened to be going to watch a Jonah Hill movie. Like you just, like, what were you going to see?
That's the one we were coming out of it. We were coming out of the Don't Worry, I Won't Get Far on Foot.
Yeah, the Gus Van Sant movie that
I think we were coming out, and I don't know. I didn't know she was going to see
Yeah.
that. Actually, we were, you know, the ArcLight Hollywood, right? So we were near the ticket, area. We were coming up the stairs, I think, from downstairs, and she was coming in from the lobby. So we saw her all the way across that large lobby, and she made an impression on us just
Yeah.
by sight. So she had that thing that just, I turned to Sam, I was like, we would be stupid right now not to get this person's information. So went and did that whole spiel.
Which is, it is funny that you guys are moving up in the world, that it's not like, you know, in a department store where you have a card and it's like, I promise I'm not sketchy, but also don't watch Starlet. That's not going to help my argument. But like,
no, you always have to always pick and choose which older films you want to put forth.
well, now you're like, my films have gotten nominated for an Oscar. Like I'm like, I have a career. Like I promise, I'm not like, I don't want to put you in porn, but
it's about porn. I know. That was difficult this time around too.
Yeah, like, a third of my movies are about this, but I swear it's not what I want to do.
Yeah. And then also it was easier in the past when physical media was more of a thing and everybody had DVD players, because I could literally just hand them a DVD. It 100% legitimizes me in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, I made this, let's, but now it's more like, IMDb me. Do you know what IMDb is?
Are you on Letterboxd?
Oh,
like, I just learned what it was. All right. I mean, I probably, am I? You turn to someone like, am I on this? Like,
exactly.
Which is the fun of it. Like, of just, but I think what makes the movie work is that people like Susie and people like Brie, like, maybe don't know the last movie, but they know, like, okay, this guy and everyone involved like want to do something very real, but also like not, they want to have a good time. Like, you can tell that like when you and Chris write it, like you're giggling to yourself. I'm just like, are we gonna get away with this? And then filming almost feels like that, especially this time. You kind of did it without anyone really knowing. It was like, guys, we got a movie, and it was the most fun surprise.
Oh, cool. Well, I surround myself with, really, really great people, like bouncing ideas off of Alex Coco, one of the producers. He's incredible. I mean, like he, in his sensibility is the same. So, he was the one who helped me. I mean, we were the ones who it was Alex and I who location scouted, who found, who found Brittany Rodriguez. And he's a big part of post too. So there's always that too. Like, are we going too far here? Are we staying on this track? And getting great feedback from everybody. We don't want to do any test screenings. We're against test screenings. So I have to rely on literally the opinions of like 3 other people. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think the people on set or the people involved in the the company, for lack of a better word, like know what you want to do, as opposed to okay, let's go to Lindenhurst and show the movie, and 16 moms and 3 grandpas are going to watch it, and they're going to tell us if it's good. It's like, well, one, they're not going to like this movie, so like
exactly,
they're not going to tell you anything helpful, and 2, like we're not trying to do that. It's just like everything about the movies are visions that you guys have, and whether it's the production design, even like people don't realize how much of it is, well, we found a great location, but then we make it look like the movie we have in our head. Like I drove by the hotel in Florida a couple weeks ago. I don't want to stay there, but it's totally like acceptable. It takes like its own genius for the production designer to go, okay, we need it to look the right amount of scuzzy.
That's well.
Okay, just this is going to have to be the last question.
No worries.
My sister Stefanik is the production designer on both this film and the last, and she's it's down to like the cigarette on the ground and where it's placed. It's that deliberate sometimes, where she'll be like, no, don't go yet, and run out and go like, boom, okay, now we can go. And with this film, she was dealing with a lot of like, not only obviously the color placement, of the red and blues, but then also of the Easter eggs that we had going on. And there are a few of them in there that I don't know if you picked them up, but stuff that between Lexi and Strawberry's World that perhaps are saying that, showing the similarities and showing the parallels.
Oh yeah, no, I know it's connected to Starlet too, which is just I feel like it's like me and three people know that, but that is I know we have to wrap. Like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
I always want to see what's next. Like I know one of the things you guys have in mind, and I'm dying to see it. But even if it doesn't happen, like whatever you guys come up with, it's going to be unique. No one is doing what you guys do, and that's just special. So I'm pulling for you guys at the Gotham tonight. I'm trying to get some Oscars going for you, and just I want to see more. Like do it
That's
fast.
cool. Thanks, man. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for your support. Really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Always a joy.
All right, cool. Talk
Take
to you
care.
soon. All right, bye-bye.
Talk to you later, Jay.
Thank you all. Bye.
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime. Okay, great.
Yeah, you can.
Lunchtime. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay, bye-bye. Wow, it's snowing.